Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sumutascha Yekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhoomaketurganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Sudpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Sativarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopi Santaye Yaskid Virada Vaktradhya Parishadhya Parastatam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishwaksenam Samasraye Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Okay, move on with Swami's grace. From there we left off. We came up to Slokam number 3. Narasimha Vapuhu Sriman Kesavaha Purushottamaha. Now number 4. Sarva Sarva Sivastano Bhutadhir Nidhiravyayah Sambhavo Bhavano Bhatta Prabhava Prabhurisvaraha Sarvaha Sarvaha Sivaha Stanuhu Bhutadihi Nidhiravyayah Sambhavaha Bhavanaha Bhatta Prabhavaha Prabhuhu Isvaraha Sarvaha. As we said, Vishwam is Bhagavan is everything. Everything. It is not all pervasive. He is everything. He is all. Now, because Swami is the cause of all creations, also the cause for all dissolution, and he is aware of everything at all times, in all places. There is nothing that escapes his attention. He is Sarvajna, as the word will come. And because of that, he is the one who is manifesting himself as everything. Sarvaha, as Sarvaha, everything, all. There is nothing that Bhagavan is not. So please remember that. As we've always talked about earlier, your thoughts, your emotions, your innermost feelings, your imaginations, in addition to all the gross manifestations that we see, create in our own mind, everything is Bhagavan only. That is Sankara Bhashyam. Bhattar Bhashyam, he is the one who is the cosmic body. Everything is part of his body. So, how do we consider our own limbs of our own body? We don't consider that as separate from ourselves, right? It is part of us, right? When that little toe gets hurt and it pains, we feel the pain, right? Remember that. It's not only our brain or not only our face, every little part of our body that is we consider it as our own. There is no feeling of separation. Without that feeling of separation, considering everything as part of his cosmic body, and he conducts and controls everything as part of himself. That is Bhattar Bhashyam. Sarvaha. Sarvaha. Sankara says Sarvaha is at the time of dissolution, when we call it pralayam, and when a time comes for samharam, as samharam means the crude translation is we say to kill and eradicate. Actually, samharam. The haram is actually a garment. An ornament is a necklace. Sam means one with Bhagavan. So samharam means the dissolution, that the disappearance, as we call it, where we go back and become one with Bhagavan himself. As we garland ourselves. Just imagine that instead of giving a rose garland and jasmine garland and so many other garlands that we all make, just imagine if we give ourselves as garland to Bhagavan, how will it be? So the Swami does that. It's at the time of dissolution, and the allotted time comes when we disappear, when we dissolve, that the Bhagavan is the one who does the dissolution at the time, allotted time, which we call as, in our parlance, we call it death, okay? And that is just an English word, but it means going back and becoming one with Bhagavan himself. So that is Sankara Bhashyam. Bhattar says, then if Bhagavan Bhagavan is operating on the basis of the whole thing as his own cosmic body, and everything is part of his own body. Just imagine what we do when we get hurt. That, as I mentioned, in the little toe gets hurt, and we take care of it, right? We remove the pain with different means. We do that. We give it rest, or we apply some balm, or take antibiotic, or whatever it is that we have to do in order to remove the difficulties and the miseries that the body goes through. We may call it illness and sickness. These are all our terms, but basically the body is not well, so we make it well. The Bhattar says the cosmic body, all the various limbs that we all are, and he's the one who removes all our difficulties. So dissolves our difficulties, right? And it not in a very passive way, but in a very active, prompt manner, without any delay. This is the Bhattar Bhashyam. Sarvaha, Sarva, Sarvaha. Okay, Sivaha. Sivaha. The Shankara says that is Gunapitaya, is beyond all the three characteristics, Sattvic Gunam, Rajasic Gunam, and Tamasic Gunam. Because of that, he is pure, absolutely pure. And he says, Sabrahma, Sasiva, Sahari, Pendra, Purushas, Swarat, it comes like that in Purushasattam. Sabrahma, Sasivaha. So he is Brahma, he is Sivan. So this is the way the Vedam actually worships him, praises him. And that shows that the Shivam also means that he is Shivam, that the aspect of Bhagavan that is described as Sata Brahma means is most expansive, Sasivaha is most auspicious, pure. And the purity of the pureness in purity itself, if you want to call it that way. Now that comes from where he says Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Only where there is truth, there is Shivam. Otherwise there cannot be any, and because it is auspicious, it is so beneficial, it is all benefit giving. That's all it does. It does only one thing. It does not know how to harm. And harming is not in Bhagavan's lexicon at all. It does only benefit. And that the truth always brings us back to the path of truth. If you really look at it in our own personal life, when we stray away from the path of Satyam, we suffer. Yes, because that's a detour we have taken as a reminder that we are not in the right path. The moment you get back on the path of truth and Satyam and hold on to it, come what may, the so-called difficulties may come, challenges, obstacles, but how will your mind be? Your mind will only be auspicious. And because of the auspiciousness, there is always peace associated with that. And that auspiciousness is also Sundaram. It is most beautiful, most attractive. So Shivaha is another aspect that that's an effulgence of Satyam itself, of Bhagavan himself. But Bhattar says that Shivaha is, as Rudram also says, as we just spoke about, Bhattar's explanation, Bhashyam says, for all creatures, he is the one who does benefit. Who is our true friend? Who is our true well-wisher, really? And who is the one who accepts each one of us the way we are without judging, absolutely non-judgmental, and accepts us with all our deficiencies and the crooked thoughts that we have and the selfishness that we have wrapped ourselves with all the things that we have got, that we have polluted ourselves, but with all these impurities, and to put it in another word, in a very blunt manner, in the English language, we are all extremely dirty when we come to the way that we are. But Bhagavan, who's a Parishuddha, who's Shivam itself, accepts us the way we are. That is Bhagavan's prema, that is love. So he is the only true well-wisher. He is the only true benefit giver, if you want to put it that way. Whatever he does for us is for our benefit and for our improvement and one more step in the path of attaining peace, attaining Shantam. Sarva Sivaha. Sthanuhu is Bhagavan ever been shaky? No, he's always firmly established. Doesn't matter where you think of him, in what manner you think of him, whether you think of him riding in a plane, 5 miles above in the sky, or under the ocean, or on the earth, or they just about to get involved in a road accident and you escape. It doesn't matter. Whenever you think of him and wherever you think of him, in whatever form that you think of him, in our limited way, in our most limited manner, we try to picture and imagine the limitless and try to contain him within our limited ability. In spite of all that, Bhagavan is there all the time, absolutely unshaky and very firmly established. And that is Sthanuhu. And what type of butter continues? What type of benefits does he give when we say Shivaha? The benefits that Bhagavan gives are permanent. They are not temporary. What does this mean? That when there is a turning of the mind, when I turn away from a bad habit or a bad thought, when I reduce my selfishness by just one iota, what happens? That benefit that I get is permanent. There is no regression in the pathway to Bhagavan. It is only forward movement. And then I take one step, permanent benefit, then I may not move forward. That's okay. Next time I begin, I leave where I begin, where exactly I left off. So Bhagavan's, the benefits, the anugraham Bhagavan that gives is always permanent. Not only is it permanent, it is always ever increasing, because Bhagavan is never satisfied by saying, okay, I gave you this benefit, and then he walks away. No, he gives you more and more and more and more. An endless treasure. And this is Sthanuhu. Okay? Sarva Sharvat Siva Sthanuhu Bhutadihi. Bhuta Adihi. So he is the very first thing that was there before all the beings came into existence. And very first one, the very first cause, you can call it that way, Bhuta Adihi. And because he is that, all the beings in all the creations, they all want to go back and attain him only. He is our home, from which we have Saukyam, Sukham, and we call it a home in this in here, just in a mortar building, and we call it as our home. That is all. No, that's just a building. Whereas Bhagavan's home means where there is absolute comfort, absolute security, absolute peace, and that is Bhagavan's lotus feet. So that is the Bhuta Adihi, because he is the very first cause from which everything came. Everything also wants to go back to him only. Why do we have this yearning to listen to Bhagavan's glory? Why do we feel comfortable and peaceful and happy, and maybe sometimes even enthusiastic when we are down and we get a shot of confidence. Why does all this happen when we think of Bhagavan? Why do we even want to think of Bhagavan? Why do we yearn for him? Because Bhuta Adihi, he is the one we have all come from. Therefore, we all yearn to go back there. Bhuta Adihi. Sarva Sarvasya Vastanuhu Bhuta Adihi Nidhiravyaya. Nidhi Avyayaha. Avyayaha Nidhi. That's, you can understand it that way. Avyayaha, that means indestructible. Nidhi. Nidhi, one meaning is wealth. Nidhi also means the place where you keep things permanently. It's like a secure, like a very crudely speaking, like a safety deposit box. But the place where everything belongs to, that's probably a better way of describing that. Okay, and that is Nidhi. It's a permanent establishment of where things belong to and things are kept. Okay, and Bhavyayaha is indestructible. He is indestructible wealth. In Tirupavai, Andal says Ningada Shelvam, and that is Abhyayaha Nidhi. And here, Bhattar continues. This is Shankara's explanation. That term of the time of dissolution, the time of disappearing from this created, the manifested world. Where do we go? We go back only to him, because he is that Nidhi, and he is also indestructible, and that is, he is not separate from us. Even though I am describing it in third person, as if Bhagavan is separate, he is not. Please remember, he is our indweller, he is the most personal antarangam, and he is the one that is me. No, I am not him. He is me. I am part of him. Okay, please remember that. Don't keep him separate from yourself. He is very much us. I am him. That's the way it is. We are all him. That's a better way of looking at it, of feeling and then relating to him, than thinking that Bhagavan is within me. Because when we say Bhagavan is within me, that means that I'm bigger than Bhagavan. It is not like that. Swami is not bigger. We are all in him. That's a better way of, he is within me, he is outside me, he is above me, he is behind me, in front of me, on my side, he is below me. Everywhere I am immersed in him. Okay. That Abhyayaha Nidhi, and being like that at the time of need, at the time of danger, at the time when we are become hopeless, so to speak, hopeless situation, we lose our mental strength and faith or whatever it is. Who's the one who's protecting us? Who's the one who's coming there and holding us in this form, so to speak, and carrying us through times of difficulties, times of challenges, when the things come that is beyond our ability to handle? Who's there? That entity who's always present, in whom I am immersed in whom I am part of, he takes care. And that is Avyayaha Nidhi. He is the indestructible treasure, the wealth, the permanence that is there. Sarva Sarvasya Vastanu Bhutadhit Nidhiravyaya Sambhavaha. Now, Sambhavaha is manifestation. Bhagavan appears in a cognizable manner, even though he is present in everything, even though he is manifesting in myriad ways, in infinite ways. But I miss him because I am involved and thinking about other things other than Bhagavan. Therefore, I miss him. I keep on missing him, and even though he keeps reminding, and in so many ways, everywhere you look, it's only Bhagavan that you're looking at. And everywhere you look, it is the Bhagavan, it's the Swami within us who's actually seeing, even though I think I'm seeing. So I miss him. Everything I hear is Bhagavan only. and the Swami is the one who's actually doing the hearing. It is such an intimate thing and such a permanent thing that is within me, which I miss just about all the time. I miss him because I am not thinking of him. My mind is thinking about other things. Therefore, I miss him present so intimately, so much around me all the time. Now, when I go through some difficulties, I think of him. As I think of him more and more, then I become involved in him. And then I start yearning for him. When I have this yearning sincerely, totally and exclusively of anything else, then I am called a Bhakta. Now, when I yearn for him, when a Bhakta yearns for him, the one who's present in everything, at all places, at all times, manifests himself in a cognizable way where I cannot miss him. And that we call as avataram. That is sambhavaha. It is very important to understand. Bhagavan manifests, Swami manifests himself, this prema, selfless love, manifests itself in a cognizable way, in a way I can recognize it with my limited faculties. That's very important to understand because Bhagavan is limitless. But then I know it's an avatara Purushan. And he comes there to give succor, to give peace, and to play with and interact with the Bhakta. So the Bhakta can relate to him, and his Bhakti even becomes more and more. And to protect the Bhakta. In response to the call of the Bhakta, Bhagavan manifests. And just like when a cow gives milk to the cow, so many other people benefit from it. But the cow's main reason for secreting milk is not to give milk to you and to me. Only for the cows it secretes. But we all benefit. Like that, when Bhagavan manifests for the sake of the Bhakta, everybody, so many other benefits take place. As part of that, yes, he comes there to eradicate the bad thought, the evil tendencies that people have. And he also comes there, people benefit, the sadhus, the good people, the people who are in the Godward path, they are also protected. So, dushta nigraham, sishta paripalanam, we call it, right? And but he comes mainly for the response to the call of the Bhakta. Sambhavami yuge yuge. It says, right? That is Sambhavaha. Now, Bhavanaha. So, Sarvas Vastanu Bhuta Nidhiravyaya Sambhavaha Bhavanaha. Bhavanaha. As we experience so many things in life, even though we try to understand life, we have trained ourselves from young age. When we are a child, we don't have this problem. As we start growing up, our parents and everybody else, and in the school we go to, everywhere, they train us the wrong way. They push us in the wrong way, so we get trapped in that. And what is the problem? We get trained on the basis of using our intelligence, our mind to begin to understand things. There's nothing wrong in that. In understanding, that's also Bhagavan's tendency. But we focus more on understanding things and less on the efficacy of the experiences that we have. The experiences that we have is our clearest and most intimate touch of Bhagavan, not the understanding. Understanding limits us. Okay, it traps us into our little small world. We cannot get anywhere close to Bhagavan through understanding. It's impossible. You have to experience him. Now, we classify some experiences as bad, some experiences as good, pleasant, unpleasant, so many things. It's our mind that is creating that. But the same sweetness of Bhagavan is present in all the experiences, without a single exception. Absolutely. If you look for Bhagavan in everything you experience, starting this moment, with the things that we experience through our five senses of perception, right? That is where the jnana indriya, whether it is taste or whether it's hear or see or smell or touch, okay? If you really go beyond the experience of the senses, something tastes sweet, and that is the tongue is tasting it. But go beyond that. What is it that is giving the sweetness? And then you can touch that sweetness itself. Same way when you hear something, and it could be gossip, it could be very beautiful scriptural teachings, it could be Bhagavan's nama that you are hearing. Whatever that you hear, it doesn't really matter that much. If you go beyond into what you heard, into who is actually hearing, okay, and where is this essence of what I'm hearing present, then you begin to taste that sweetness. Bhagavan, who he gives experiences of all types of experiences for the beings. And if you learn to experience the experiences in the proper way, then what type of a reward that you get. Even when I don't look for Bhagavan in whatever I experience, whether I taste something, I enjoy the sweetness, I taste the delicacy, I hear Bhagavan's nama singing, bhajans, I get involved in it, and I'm very happy. I see something very pretty like a flower, a rose flower or a beautiful garden or a sunset or whatever, I get involved in it, I'm very happy. So I get a reward, I get a result out of that. That is only beneficial, right? But if I go beyond that and into the depth of the experience itself, then what type of a reward will I get? What type of a benefit will I get? And who is the one who is giving that benefit? That is Bhagavan, that is Bhavana. And every misery that we have, every difficulty that we have in life, always gets removed, always gets eradicated. And as a result of that, as a result of solving a problem, as a result of coming out of a problem, how do you feel? You feel, we call it relief. Actually, we feel a sense of peace, right? That sense of that moment that we enjoy, that peaceful moment, what can equal that? That result, that reward is the entity that is giving us that all the time. And by giving us that, pointing us to it all the time, calling us all the time. It's like Bhagavan playing hide and seek, and it is hiding behind all this. At the same time, it is calling us, it is telling us. The only difference is it keeps advertising and announcing or continuously the places where it is present. Only thing is we have to seek it. That entity, that prema that is giving us all these rewards and results and the sweetness of every action we do. Okay, even if we do a bad action, we get what we call as an unpleasant reaction. That is okay. But the sweetness present even in that unpleasantness, that is Bhagavan. Please remember that is Bhavana. Bharta. Sambhavo Bhavano. Bharta is among, not only physically when we move, we are all supported on the ground, so we walk confidently. We drive a car on the road being supported by the earth. And what happens if there's an earthquake, there's immediately a huge hole and the car falls in. So what do we feel? The support that we have for us in this world, who is supporting us, that is Bhagavan, that is Bharta. Now, not only physical support, because we've got to move away from the gross manifestation all the time, because Bhagavan is the subtlest of the subtle. He's more subtle even than the subtlest thing, and more subtle even than the mind. So, mental thoughts, mental feelings, the sense of hope, if you take the sense of hope that we have, the moment you have hope, what happens? That gives you tremendous confidence, right? And that is the support that keeps us moving and moving about in the world. If the situation becomes hopeless, And the moment I give up my hope, what happens? People commit suicide, right? So the hope is a phenomenal support that we have to lead our life in this world, in this life. Okay, and physically you can see the support. Mentally you can see that hope is one example of what I'm saying, or bhakti or faith. You might want to call it another way. Without faith, nothing moves. Even though we may not pay much attention to it, we all operate on the basis of faith only. It's a very simple example. You leave your home to go to the store to buy something. You leave the home with the full faith that you're going to return home. If you don't have that faith, you will not be leaving. You get into a taxi, go to an airport, hail a taxi and get into the back seat and tell the taxi driver where to go, because you have full faith that the taxi driver is going to take you to where you want to go. He's an absolute stranger. You don't know him from Adam. So the faith is something, even every step I take when I walk is based upon faith only, because the faith is the one that makes me not fall. Faith is fundamental support to our life. That support physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything, that support is Bharta. And what type of a support is this? This entity, this prema, gives itself completely in order to support you. That is its nature. When you undertake the path of yoga and want to embrace a lotus seat, what happens? It is not sitting passively. You take one step towards Bhagavan, and Bhagavan takes 100 steps towards you. He gives himself. He comes there running to embrace you. There are many examples, not only in Puranas, but in our own life. When you think back calmly and sincerely and honestly and truthfully, you will see how Bhagavan has rushed to protect you, to take you in his arms from further dangers. So, but this Bharta is a support for our life. Bharta is also the support that who gives himself in order to support us. Prabhavaha Sambhavo Bhavano Bharta Prabhavaha. Now is Prabhavam. Immediately when you say Prabhavam, it means something that is supreme, that is excellent, something par excellence, that is Prabhavam. But he is also the primal cause of all this creation. Bhuta Adihi, we saw earlier. He's the one who was present, the first entity and the only entity actually that is always present. Now, he's also the cause for all this creation. That is Prabhava, and in the most excellent manner. If you look back, and it's wondrous, it's Ascharyam is what Bhagavan describes, says this in Bhagavad Gita. And the moment you start thinking of Bhagavan, talking about Bhagavan and experiencing him and touching him and hearing about his glories, the one thing that comes is, you cannot capture it with your mind. You cannot embrace all the things you say with your mind. It's in the realm of experience, and it is also one of excellence, one of amazement, one of wonder. Isn't it? That is Prabhava. Now, when Bhagavan comes as an avataram, and even though he may take a human form, it really doesn't matter whether I take him as an avataram or not, whether I acknowledge him and accept him as an avataram or not. That is irrelevant, immaterial to the avataram. And if his grace is there, I recognize him, then for my benefit I move forward. Even if I don't recognize him, not only that, I deride him, as it happened in Krishna avataram many times, right? And it happened in several avatars. It does not touch Bhagavan at all. But taking a human form, he comes At the same time, I pray to him. What does he do? And if I, with his grace, if I recognize him, if I'm aware that Avataram has to make me aware of the fact that it has come. Otherwise, many people miss it. Many people miss Krishna Avataram because we all love Krishna Avataram. I'm talking about that. Many other examples I can give you, but I'm going to skip that. But the moment I become aware of the Avataram and cognize him, as Sambhavaha, cognize him, become aware of him, what happens to my life? My life starts taking a turn for the better. Not the physical comfort, but the mental comforts start increasing. I become more peaceful. So in that process, as I interact with the Avataram, does it look all my deficiencies? Does it look at all the problems I have, limitations I have, and all the Arishta Vargas that I have, all the 6 enemies that I'm keeping with me and living with me of my anger and desire and selfishness and jealousy and so many other things? No, it completely ignores all that. It looks at me as an embodiment of prema and interacts with me only on that basis as an embodiment of prema. They're nothing different. So that Bhagavan who comes, that is Prabhavam. Even though comes as an avatar in a human form, it is untouched by all the other pollutions that we have, mental pollutions we have. At the same time, it removes my impurities and absolutely in a non-judgmental, most loving manner, it interacts with me in order to elevate me, uplift me, in order to take me back home. That is Prabhavam. So, Sambhavo Bhavano Bhakta Prabhavaha. Prabhu is, many meanings are given. Prabhu, when we say one meaning is leader, we take it as a master, he is a Prabhu. Actually, it also means one who is most skilled in whatever that he does. Whatever he does. When you see an avatar acting or talking or doing something or interacting or even the way the avatar sits or stands or looks at you, you will see that it is perfection only. It is simplicity and it is perfection. And that perfection can be obtained only where the extreme level of what we call a skill or capability or whatever it is. In whatever you do, you look at even Olympic champions, in whatever sport that they play, that they perform, you will find that it is perfection. And in that perfection, there is the simplicity also. That simplicity comes only from perfection. And that aspect of Bhagavan, of this prema, is Prabhu also. Not only a leader, not only a master, because it is an embodiment of that perfection itself. Continuing on, this is Shankara's explanation. In continuing on Bhattar's explanation, he's talking when the avataram comes. Please remember, Bhattar takes it on not on an abstract basis, on an interactive basis. You can touch and you can feel and you can talk and you can embrace this entity. We always tend to keep Bhagavan separate from us. We should not do that. We should embrace him, make him extremely personal and intimate. Now, when avataram comes, continuing on that, what does the avataram grant? As a cow secretes milk for the cow, all the other people benefit from the milk, and imagine the extent of the benefit we get from that milk, right? And so when Bhagavan comes, even the devas who have not taken human form, even they're all yearning for this. That amount of benefit and bliss that Bhagavan grants and shares with everybody who interacts with him when he comes down as avatar. That is why when Yasoda was the bliss and the privilege and the pleasure and the blessing that Yashoda had to bring up baby Krishna. The songs are there that even Devas are yearning for it, and they could not get that, to interact with Bhagavan, to be able to dance with him, to be able to touch him, to be able to hear the flute music. It is not to be able to touch Bhagavan's feet. Even Devas are yearning for it. But when Avataram comes, and if grace, Anugraham is there, and you're able to touch his lotus feet, and what is it? That feeling even Devas cannot get, even though they're yearning for it. That is what Prabhu, the way Bhattar explains that. Prabhu Isvaraha. Isvaraha all means several things again. Because when we say Isvara, we immediately think it is a Lord. He is actually the one who naturally, nature is also not the right word. He is all types of prosperity and all types of wealth. That he is, that is not separate from, he is that. And that is Isvara. And when we talk of wealth, immediately our mind goes to money only. Money is one part of it, that is Artham. There is also various other prosperities out there, right? Everything, he is the repository of that. He is the treasure house of that. He is the one from which everything springs forward. And all these prosperities and this wealth, sampat as we call it, and every thought that we have, every tendency we have to think in certain way, whether it is Daivik Sampat or it is Asuric Sampat, which is the things that take us towards the lotus feet or take us away from the lotus feet, everything is wealth only, everything is prosperity, everything is resource only. Please understand that. Because sometimes we take a detour in order to realize you're not on the right path. In that sense, it is beneficial. So when you have an Asuric tendency, and if you because of our selfishness, our miseries and difficulties keep on multiplying, and there doesn't seem to be any end at all, and I'm not peaceful in my mind, then at some point in time, either this birth or next birth or whenever, I realize I'm on the wrong path. Therefore, I start decreasing my selfishness. It is bound to happen because this is a natural law, and we don't have a choice in this. The sooner we do it, the better for us. So the repository, the treasure house of this bliss itself. The treasure is nothing but bliss, and that is Isvaraha. And when it manifests itself in an avataram, it could be Archavataram. It need not be an avataram that like Krishna and Rama. It could be Archavataram, like you go to a temple and pray to Bhagavan there. That is an avatar, because Bhagavan manifests himself to you at that time when you go and pray in the temple. If you pray sincerely, he manifests there. That is Archavataram, we call it. Whatever form of avataram that Bhagavan comes, so that I can relate to him through my senses of perception. My senses of perception is limited. But with that, I'm able to cognize him. I'm able to relate to him. Then we do that. How does Bhagavan interact with us? The limitless entity of prema. How does he allow me, facilitate me to interact with him when I go and pray in the temple, for example? That exclusive aspect of prema, that is Aiswaryam. That is Aiswaryam. Okay? Isvara. So, Sarva Sharvat Devastano Bhautadhir Nigiravyayah Sambhavo Bhavano Bhatta Prabhava Prabhurisvaraha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.